Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Africast. My name is Brendan Lott, and you may or may not know it, but artificial intelligence is one of the most popular technologies available on the market at the moment. AI has been around for many, many years in different forms and in different names, but in the last couple of years, we've seen a veritable boom in the artificial intelligence market, thanks to companies like ChatGPT, Microsoft, Google, and pretty much everybody you can think of and more throwing their hat into the ring. And one of the more popular use cases in recent years has been switching AI to a sort of mobile interface where you're interacting with the technology on a smartphone. And today we thought that the best way to come to grips with this technology is to speak to a company that is implementing artificial intelligence into their smartphones, and that company is Oppo. And today we're joined by Brad Young from Oppo. How are you doing, Brad?
Wonderful yourself, Brendan.
Always good, Brad. So tell us a bit about Oppo for the people who don't know who Oppo is. What do you guys do?
Yeah, of course. So, Oppo comes to the market with a rich history of innovation. Globally, the brand has been around for over 20 years. And, 4 years ago, September, we launched it in South Africa. So we've passed our fourth birthday. The brand itself, in the first 3 years, we were able to grow quite nicely to over 10% market share within the country. But I think delving into what the brand is about really is we focus on innovation, affordability. We make sure that we meet the local consumers' needs, and we do that by providing a lot of value. Great phone that's incredibly durable. It's sort of one of our key pillars is the durability and the longevity of our phones. And then, of course, additional value whereby, we're one of the few remaining manufacturers that still gives you chargers in the box. You're going to get your covers, your screen protectors, and all of that. So we're really, excited to have these products in SA, and we're continuously expanding on our product offering. And like you said, we're bringing this rich AI-powered experience to our users through these formidable smartphones.
So something that I've noticed over the years as Oppo has kind of established itself in the local market is that you sort of have a device for every single, or not every single, but for most points in the market, right? So you have your entry level up until your really high end, your premium almost Reno 12 Pro. Is that how you guys approach this thinking for the local consumer or marketing towards the local consumer, is offering a sort of spread of devices that have great functionality, but also meets the consumer where their wallet is?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, we've got products from the 2,500-3,000 Rand mark all the way up to the 20, pushing a little bit higher at times when we do have the foldables like we have in the past. So whenever people ask us, who's your target market or who's your audience? And we just say it's everybody. If you're in South Africa, we've got the right product for you. If you're not willing to break the bank and you're on a budget, we've got fantastic devices that do. And as we scale up in the price points, you get more functionality, more features, and obviously more of an AI-rich experience is obviously one of the narratives that we're driving quite aggressively at the moment. So yeah, it really comes down to great products, regardless of the price points, durability throughout from our A series to the Reno series. And it's really just making sure that consumers have got a phone that they can trust, rely on, and also enjoy the experience every single day.
So when you talk about the features that are kind of suited towards the customer, are we looking here at things like, because I know when people ask me about a phone, some of the first questions I ask is how much do you use it, and then how important is the camera to you? So how do you guys pick which devices you're bringing to South Africa? Because I can imagine it's quite a difficult task to do. What sort of features are front of mind for the South African consumer?
Yeah, so we do tend to pick and choose what's available globally for what will suit the South African market, and very often price points and budgets do play a big factor in it. But I think regardless of the price point, like I said, we always bringing devices with really good batteries, strong, big battery that gives a user solid battery life. Over and above that, we've got technologies like your battery health engine, which enable the user to get a much longer lifespan out of the device, where competitors' batteries might degrade to that 80% mark around 2 years. Ours is only going to reach there after the 4-year mark. So
wow.
What's exciting for me when I talk about something like that is when we do get to, get a new phone, or we upgrading, we tend to take this existing phone and pass it down to friends, families, loved ones. And if you've had the phone for 2, maybe even 3 years, 3-year contracts are very, very popular at the moment. And we giving a phone or passing a phone down to somebody that's still got a solid battery life even after that 4-year mark. So you're not, giving it to them with sort of one eye closed, a little bit embarrassed, but you're giving them something that's really going to be enjoyable even after that 4-year mark. Like you said, in terms of the camera, it's always the first thing that people look at. You give them a new phone, they switch on the selfie camera and they start looking at themselves. So camera quality is absolutely always a top priority for us and, of course, for our users. Now, what we include on our devices, and this is even from your sort of mid to entry price points, you're getting those high resolution cameras, really advanced sensors, and of course they all are equipped with advanced AI technologies that just enhance the photography capabilities. So whether you're a good photographer or not, it shouldn't matter. You should just be able to point and shoot and let your Oppo do all the hard work for you to be able to produce something absolutely majestic, regardless of the lighting conditions, or any of those factors. So we pretty much cover the bases there, and of course then giving you a few additional AI editing type tools, which I'm sure we'll talk about just now. But it really does include camera as one of the main things. Of course, a device is always going to be enjoyed more when you're able to get good performance out of the device. So the AI algorithms that just make sure the phone is closing applications for you when you're not using them, learning how you as a user experience the phone, and that AI just making it fine-tuned to you as the user, giving you the best possible experience that's tailor-made for you as well.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I love the point that you make about when you get a new phone, you tend to pass the old one down. And I think that's so important, is to have a phone or a piece of technology like an Oppo, where it's not just going to land up in a landfill in 2 years' time. We know that e-waste is a growing problem internationally, but especially here in South Africa, where it's outpacing the growth of municipal waste, which is a shocking stat to me. But I think it's so important that companies like Oppo are thinking about that, and it's good to hear that you guys are thinking about that over the long term of, well, how long is this device going to stay around, right? Eventually, your children will need a smartphone, or, a friend of yours loses a phone because, we live in South Africa where crime is an unfortunate reality. And it's good to have these devices that are still functional as functional as the first day that you open the box. So yeah, I think it's such an important consideration for people, and I hope that a lot more consumers are being mindful about when they select a smartphone, because it's going to hang around for a long time, right?
Definitely.
I've got friends who are using smartphones that came out in 2015 and they're still using them. So yeah, I think it's such an important thing, and I'm glad that it's a consideration for Oppo.
No, it definitely is. And I think just to add on to that, something that's become more and more prevalent, the last couple of years, and for us, we've been focusing on for a while, is something called our fluency rating. And likewise, where the battery is long lasting, the fluency rating of our devices also then exceeds that, depending on the model, either a 3 or a 4-year mark. And what it just means is we've put these devices to the test to simulate long-term usage, and the phones are giving you the same, experience as they would on day one, 3 or 4 years down the line, which just gives the user the satisfaction that they want and know that they've made the right purchase.
Yeah. And I just also want to point out to our listeners that after those 4 years, the phone is still going to be working fine.
Absolutely.
It's just, it's in terms of comparing it to day one, it's going to be a little bit lower performance, but I mean, it'll still be usable for the most part and you still be able to use the features. So yeah, I think that's just worth mentioning. Just because we're talking about 4 years doesn't
Absolutely.
mean the phone is useless after 4 years.
It doesn't end there. Absolutely. Thanks,
Exactly.
Brendan.
So, I want to shift now to artificial intelligence, which is a
Yeah.
massive market worldwide. But looking
Yeah.
specifically at mobile artificial intelligence, I've got some research up here from Precedence Research, and
Yeah.
they project that by 2034, which is a decade from now, the mobile artificial intelligence market will be worth $274 billion. For context, right now it's worth $24.91 million. So that's a massive amount of improvement over 10 years. So if you're ignoring the mobile artificial intelligence market, do so at your own peril, because this is going to be a hugely valuable market over the next decade. And this, I feel like this is very conservative given where we are in artificial intelligence at the moment. And
Yeah.
I do want to just point out to our listeners that while stuff has advanced, the rate at which it advances further is so rapid that I honestly think that 274 billion is a bit conservative. I think it might be on the low end of what we can expect, because as this technology improves, as it's developed further, it just gets better and more valuable, and new use cases are found for it. But that's the future, and I want to bring us back to right now, because the future is here, really. If we think about things like artificial intelligence, how it was in the movies, it's not like Terminator style things, but we have been able to make things a lot more efficient. So for myself, I like taking photos with my friends and family, and unfortunately, especially around the festive season, there tends to be a lot of other people around. I don't know why people are going to
Yeah.
public beaches and to restaurants and stuff over the festive season when I want to take some awesome cinematic shots of my family.
You know, right?
Yeah, how inconsiderate. I'm joking, of course. But Brad, Oppo phones have this fantastic tool called AI Eraser. Do you want to just talk to us about what this technology is?
Yeah, absolutely. And exactly like you said, there's always somebody in the background, and it's not always possible to tell people to remove themselves from
Yeah.
from the scene. But AI Eraser, it's definitely one of those functions that I absolutely love, and I use it very, very frequently. And the simplicity of it also just makes it that much more enjoyable. So let's say, for example, we go out and I took a great photo of my wife and her friend the other day. We were out at Four Ways Farmers Market, beautiful views, and I captured this really great photo of the two ladies. And when I looked at the picture, I just thought, there's a guy in the background there holding a beer, bright red shirt, and I don't want him there. And it's as easy as just going into the edit option. You tap AI Eraser, which then gives you three functions. You've either got the button that says remove people, and as you would suggest, it looks at the people that are in the foreground and assumes who's not wanted in the picture, highlights them, and removes them. It then, with the AI, actually generates the background that would have been missing. In this case, Mr. Red Shirt Man is now gone, and it's filled with the same grass texture that is in the rest of the picture. Sometimes you don't necessarily have people. Maybe it's an object. Again, took a group photo with some friends recently, and looking at one of the walls in the background, and it had this emergency exit sign. And, bit of an eyesore for what was a fantastic picture. You then just choose the smart lasso option, pretty much cowboy style, circle the object, and within a second, it's removed, and again, regenerated with a perfect filled background over there. So it really just takes these fantastic photos that we are able to take with the Oppo devices, and it just fine tunes them to the way we want it. And it really just, the results are spectacular. So I absolutely love that AI Eraser function.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that especially now around the festive season, I was joking, but I mean, if you're out with family and stuff, there's a lot of people around. And if you don't, maybe if there's like kids in the photo that you maybe don't want to post to the internet, which is is a concern for a lot of people, you can just remove them. And I think what's so beautiful about this technology is that, yes, you can go to a computer and you can import the image to your computer, open up like a photo editing app, and then spend a couple of hours deeply like cropping everybody out. But it takes so long. And with the AI Eraser 2.0 technology on Oppo smartphones, it's a couple of clicks, you know?
Yeah. No, it's super simple, super easy. And I think even on like social media platforms like X at the moment, I'm constantly seeing people asking people to remove somebody from their photos, whether it's an X or, somebody that was putting a weird face in the background that they don't know. So it's possible on other or other, devices, PCs, that sort of thing. But just the simplicity of how nicely it works on the devices and how quickly you can do it is just, it's truly impressive.
Yeah, and I think also worth mentioning is that not everybody has a desktop computer that can run a photo editing suite, right?
Sure.
But, I mean,
Absolutely.
Most people have a smartphone, so yeah. So something that caught my eye when I was browsing the website for the Reno 12 Pro was a feature called AI Clearface. And this is a common gripe of mine, is that when I'm taking like group shots of people, the people that are further away tend to not really be in focus. But it looks like AI Clearface could like really take care of that problem. And yeah, like makes everybody's details just a bit more in detail, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if we're taking a group photo, the people that are closer to the camera aren't more important than the guys at the back.
Absolutely.
So it's a great function to be able to, and it's, again, this is just something, one of the AI functions that when you're taking the photo, it's automatically going to apply it in its processing after capture. But you want to be able to see the same sort of clarity on people's faces, regardless of wherever they are positioned in the photo. So, getting that perfect group photo happens with that first click, not having to take the photo, review it, and then say, wasn't so great, and then having to retake it a couple of times to get it perfect. So yeah, absolutely lovely feature.
Yeah.
As well.
I love that you mentioned that it's the first take, because that so often is the photo that everybody wants. But then, you've got Jeff there whose eyes are maybe just out of focus, or he's blinking or whatever. But then there's also a feature for that with AI Best Face, where it kind of makes sure that if somebody's blinking, you can still see their eyes, you can still see their face, or if they're looking away, I think that's also great, because like you say, right, it's that first image that you get that is often the best one that people want, and then they'll have to look at the others and be like, okay, well, this is the next best one, I guess.
No, exactly. And, often when we are taking these group shots, I'm sure we've all sort of faced the frustration of people saying, oh, no, this one's eyes were closed or this one wasn't ready. And you keep having to retake the photo. And photography, especially on mobile these days, it should add to the vibe and wherever you're out with your friends, you shouldn't have to pause the fun for 5 minutes just to be able to try and capture this great photo when you guys are all sort of standing at the reception, awkwardly waiting to go into a party when you're trying to get that good photo.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to move now to the AI Studio, because I think one of the main attractions for a lot of people with regards generative artificial intelligence is the ability to kind of make your own photos or make your own art, as it were, and without having to be like a Juilliard trained artist, right?
Sure.
But on the same token, like a lot of the times I see when people are trying to make this art, it's for themselves. They want themselves to kind of look like they are in the Lord of the Rings, or like they're in a Pixar movie or whatever. So how does AI Studio kind of give the user more creativity?
Yeah, so AI Studio, it's such a cool app on the phone. It is an application that you'll find on the device, but obviously provided on the phone. You don't need to download it. And what's cool about this is you can take any photo that's in your gallery, or just take a photo when you're trying to use the feature. And you then have multiple different themes and templates that you can choose from. You can choose your single shot or a group photo. So if you've got more than one person in there as well. And you can go and add a little bit of fun and flair to it. You can position yourself in a very animated way on the moon. You can make it look like you're on the beach, and a lot of this is being able to look like you've been to all these exotic places, but you're just nice and cozy on your couch over there. Something that's also really cool is, if I look at it from a professional photography perspective, if I'm trying to add a professional grade profile picture to attach to a CV, for example, not everybody's got access to a professional photo studio. And you can go and, take a photo of yourself in a casual t-shirt. You might not even have to do your hair too much, and take this photo and create these really magical professional looking photos that all of a sudden you're in a suit and a tie, your hair's all neat, really looking like you've gone and had a whole day's worth of prep just to be able to get this photo made. So whether you're in it for a little bit more fun, lots of different themes that tie into different holidays and things like that. I think we've just launched the update now where you can pop yourself into a poster of the new Venom movie, which looks pretty rad as well. Been having a bit of fun with that one. Big Marvel fan. So the AI Studio, lots of fun, and can also be tailored to that more professional look if that's something that you want as well.
That's awesome. Check out the AI Studio on Oppo smartphones. It could be lots of fun. And I expect all my friends to send me some very creative, quote-unquote, holiday pictures. I know I'll be in some tropical paradise somewhere, but actually on my couch.
As soon as this call's done, I'm actually heading off to Mount Everest. I'll post a photo later.
So AI, we've spoken about the image capture and the way that it helps you capture moments better and enhances the ability to kind of tell your story. But I think one of the features that appeals to me the most is the AI link boost, which I think is an incredibly clever way of implementing AI in a way that helps people in situations that they don't really think about too often. So this is sort of a network tool that makes sure that you kind of stay online. Is that correct, Brad?
Yeah, definitely. That's correct. So there's two parts to AI Link Boost. The one, as you said, definitely it's from a network connectivity perspective, and this counts for both your mobile networks and Wi-Fi as well. So the AI is always analyzing network speed and will actually assist the phone to provide more power to the antennas when necessary. Especially when you are moving to maybe a more rural area where signal's becoming a bit more of a challenge. If you're going hiking, for example, you still want to be able to stay connected to, maybe call people if worst case scenario there's an emergency of some sort. But even when you are in residential or office environments, it works really, really well in the sense that when I'm in the office, I'm obviously connected to Wi-Fi. And the minute I leave the office, walk downstairs, go to my car, the phone automatically detects, okay, I'm moving away from the Wi-Fi connectivity. As that signal is degrading, it picks up on the network connectivity that is now stronger, and that layover happens much quicker and more seamlessly than ever before. So essentially, it's always making sure that you are connected, which end of the day, we've got these great features, great products, but people always ask me, but can it still make a phone call? And I always laugh and I say, it's probably going to give you the best calling experience out of everything that is available. So whether you're in a basement parking or jumping into the lift and things like that, it's always going to help make sure that you are connected. And there are times to say, like if you go into a basement, that you might lose signal, but you'll be the last one to lose signal versus, people with competitor devices around you.
Yeah.
Now, one more thing, like I said, there's two parts to Link Boost. The second part is something called Beacon Link. Now, this is proving to be a massive hit with people that are in outlying areas, especially when it comes to places where there's agriculture involved. So Beacon Link is a feature that requires no network access at all. You can literally put the phone into flight mode and still make phone calls to other Reno 12 series devices through Bluetooth connectivity, pushing your range between 200 and 250 meters. So when people are out out on a farm, and they want to be able to communicate to each other, they don't have to worry about two-way radios and things like that, provided the proximity is there. But just something that helps a lot, especially if you need to phone your friend, you're on a hike, they've sort of pushed up ahead, you can still contact people when there's absolutely no signal at all.
That's really awesome. It reminds me of, what was it called back in the day? Push to talk.
Yeah, push to talk,
which we didn't really have it wasn't really well supported in South Africa, but
no.
This sounds like a bit of a massive evolution. I mean, using the Bluetooth technology.
I think one thing just to add on this is something that it actually helped me with recently is I was at a music festival and I knew my friend was somewhere in the vicinity. And obviously when you go to these, whether it's concerts or festivals or stadiums, there's such a high density of users on the networks that, it doesn't always work to try and make that phone call first time. And, I was actually able to phone my friend quite nice and just say, hey, bud, let's meet at the front of the stage on the right there. And within a couple of minutes, we linked up and then we carried on. So awesome experience from what I've been able to check out.
It's, I mean, for me, I think that using artificial intelligence in ways that help you behind the scenes without you even realizing it, I think that's one of my favorite use cases of the technology. And I know that lots of companies do this. I know that like insurance companies are running artificial intelligence in the background, but when it's on a device that's in your hand, I think that's so powerful, and it gives the user just so much more freedom. I know it sounds silly to talk about a smartphone like this, but I mean, there's instances where I'm like, I really don't want to go out into the wilderness because I'm not really going to have signal. What if something happens? It's always a concern, but having the freedom to be able to kind of expand your horizons, actually, just because of the cell phone you're using, I think that's so powerful, and it does help people at the end of the day. So especially this beacon link, I really like this feature. I think it's so smart, and I'm excited to see how it's implemented in future as it gets developed further. So let's move on to work, because I remember many years ago, everyone used to have to get a company cell phone. I don't know if that still happens. Very rare, I think, in some instances. But a lot of us are using our smartphones for work. I know the younger generations, they're very, very mobile first. A lot of South Africans are mobile first. And even myself, when we're out at conferences and events, a lot of times you're recording voice clips with people because it's much easier to just open up your phone, hit the recording app, and record a couple of questions and answers. The problem is transcribing that stuff because it's often very noisy. It's cumbersome. You have to pause and play a couple of times. But Oppo can deal with this with some AI solutions. Do you want to tell us more about this, Brad? About the recording summary and these other tools that Oppos have?
Yeah, of course. So I'll touch on three different AI functions. The first one, like you mentioned, is our AI recording summary. So this is a function that's built into the recorder on the device, so your voice recorder. And as you said, jumping into a meeting, and let's say, for example, that meeting is an hour or an hour and a half long, I've recorded it. Now, previously, if I've done this with the phone that didn't have these types of functions, I would have to go and listen to that 1.5 hour meeting all over again to be able to find and extract the key points, and let alone trying to transcribe the whole meeting. And what AI recording summary does is not only does it record the whole meeting, it also then gives you a full transcription, so every and that's been included in there, but it also then gives you a summary that reduces all of that and gives you the key discussion points that were mentioned. It will be able to extract actions and tasks that need to be performed after the meeting. So it's super intelligent in the way that it's able to just simplify something that we've sort of all been struggling with for a while from a work perspective, and just making it that much easier. Granted, you can go and edit it here and there if need be. Maybe it's spelt a name incorrectly. You can just go and do a little tweak over there. But it is super easy to be able to take that whole, let's call it, hour and a half meeting and review the full transcript, but also then have a very concise summary that can be effectively copy and paste it into an email and send to the team and say, guys, here's the minutes, here's the key points, and let's go. So it makes it super, super easy. The next one is our AI toolbox. Now, AI toolbox is a little bit more interesting in the sense that the functions only become available to you when they can be applied. So we've got something called a smart sidebar. It's a little handle that either sits on the right or the left-hand side of the screen. I'm a lefty, so I've moved it over to the left. And what this toolbox does, it gives me two main functions. One would be your AI writer, and one would be AI speak. It also does have an additional AI summary function in here as well. So AI writer is, I jump into an email and I now need to construct this full email. Once I jump into my email and I hit compose, my little smart sidebar highlights blue. I swipe it in, tap AI writer, and I can then just go. And I very often don't type on my phone when I'm using these AI functions. I just hit the audio button and I start talking. And I just say, I need to send an email to Brendan. It needs to cover a couple of the key points of what we're going to discuss today. And then you can go and choose what tone you want the email to carry. So, I can say more humorous, I can be serious, and there's a couple other tones that you can choose. And based on the keywords that you've just now said to the phone, it then constructs this whole email for you. And you can then just go and review it quickly, copy it, paste it onto your email, and hit send. And people will think, geez, Brad spent so much time on this email, when it honestly took me like less than a minute. And the benefit of that is I'm spending time on the things that are more important than just sending emails.
Yeah.
Which I think we'd all love to be able to get to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another one is your AI speak. So AI speak, this one comes in when you jump into websites, for example. So whether it is an article that I want to read, but maybe I've bookmarked this article to read when I have a bit of free time. And very often when I'm in the car, if I'm not in a music vibe, I'm often listening to podcasts. But this is often when I will bring in that bookmark, open up the article, and just before I'm about to start driving, I swipe in my smart sidebar that's now highlighted blue, hit the AI speak, and it then reads the whole article to me while I'm driving. So something that saves you time from having to maybe get home or get to the office and then take a bit of time to read it, because it's just great to be able to listen to the article when you need. And then tying into that, our AI summary can then also take that full article or website, and it will summarize everything that's important for you, to give you a nice, quick, short summary. It feels like a little bit of like a life hack or a cheat tool at times, because it just becomes so much easier to actually get through the tasks that you need to do.
So I love the example that you give of driving, because the first thing I thought of when you mentioned AI Speak was like, oh, I could use this to replace the radio in my car for news, So before I leave the office, I can take my bookmarks and then have an AI read them to me, and then I can get my news fix just read to me instead of having to read it from some of my favorite websites. So I think that's a really, really convenient tool. And it's really, really good. I can't add anything more to it.
I think I'll just add one more little function, and this is something it's fairly simple, and again it is available as applications on Play Store and things like that as well. But we've got an AI document scanner as well built into the camera. So especially in a work environment, if we're scanning documents, maybe in the past we've used Cam Scanner, but you always end up having to, if you want the full functionality, you're subscribing to something or paying for something. And again, it's an external application. So with AI document scanning in the camera, you just point it at a document and it automatically sees whether it's an A4 page. It can distinguish the color from background to the page, and it automatically sort of frames it, crops it, and allows you to either save it as an image or a PDF. So again, you don't have to get up from your desk, walk to the scanner, slap all those documents in, and then wait for the email, only to then send it off, when you can just snap a couple of quick pictures, frames it, automatically crops everything for you, and within a flash, you are able to forward that PDF over WhatsApp or email much quicker than ever before.
So, Brad, I do just need to ask, with regards to these AI solutions, are these on-device solutions?
Yes, they are on-device solutions. There are a couple of features that will require network connectivity. So things like your AI eraser is one of them that, and it doesn't use a lot of data. I think I use maybe 30 megs over a month, for example, of using the function fairly frequently. But it's, if we look at the amount of data that these devices are accessing to be able to have this generative AI effect, it is obviously pulling from massive sources of data. But again, that's not eating into your data bundle significantly.
Yeah, I think that's important. Is that, I mean, I think everybody should understand that if you're using cutting edge technology, there's going to be some data usage, but it's good
Absolutely.
to know that the majority of what's happening is happening on device.
Yeah.
Mainly because, like you mentioned, these AI applications use buckets of data, gigabytes
Yeah.
and gigabytes and gigabytes of data. So the fact that it's only a couple of megs that you're using every month, that's really not bad for the average user.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about as much as opening up a Facebook page and letting it load once off kind of thing. So
Yeah,
it's really,
and
it's minimal.
how many times do I open Facebook every day? I am not going to comment, pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights, even though we're not in the US. So which Oppo devices are these features available on mainly? Where would you tell folks that are interested in what they've heard about today, where should they go and look for these AI features on Oppo devices?
Yeah, so we first introduced these functions on our new Reno 12 series device or devices. So we've got the Reno 12 Pro 5G. That one's obviously got the full complement of up to 11 AI functions. Then we've got the sort of mid-range Reno 12 FS 5G. This one's coming with 6 AI functions. And then we've got our sort of entry to midpoint, the Reno 12 F4G, and this is coming with 4 AI functions. So you're still getting your AI eraser, you're getting something really cool called your AI smart image matting. All of the devices are going to offer your link boost and your AI studio. We also have recently pushed updates to the Reno 10 series devices, and they are also starting to receive some of these AI functions as well. So Reno 10 Pro Plus recently got AI eraser and a bundle of additional features. So yeah, we're not going to necessarily backscale to too many devices. Nothing prior to Reno 10 series, but it will filter to Reno 10, and then of course a lot of the devices coming in the future and coming through next year will definitely have all the AI functionality. And of course, as we said, it's something that's accelerating at such a rapid pace. There's always a promise of more functional features that we are going to be adding to the sort of toolbox of AI that's on the devices.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to mention, that you should keep your phone updated as often as possible. Don't delay.
You should.
Not only is it does it mean that you get the latest features, it also means you're secure. It means that your phone is secured from major threats. It's just good. Also, make sure that your phone keeps running at the efficiency and the performance rate that you have become comfortable with. So keep an eye out for updates. Don't delay. Install them as soon as you can. And maybe if you're running an older Oppo Reno, you might find it has some new functionality because you guys just keep pulling it out of the bag, really.
Do.
And then, Brad, where can I find Oppo smartphones? Where would you direct folks to go and get their hands on their own Oppo device?
So, I mean, you'd be able to get the Oppo devices through any of the network channels that are available in SA, whether it's your Vodacom, MTN, Telkom, Cell C. We also have our entry and mid price point devices available in retail stores like your TFG stores, Dunn's, Edgar's, and so on. So it's very easy and possible to literally walk into almost any store in most of these malls that will sell phones, that you will find the Oppo devices. And then, of course, depending on the network, we've got some great deals, and depending on the network, we've also got some great bundle offerings as well, just to increase the value for our consumers. But if somebody's looking to get an Oppo, head over to any of the leading network stores, and you'll find one.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Brad, for chatting to us. I really appreciate your time.
And your pleasure.
Yeah, it was great to learn more about Oppo and the fantastic AI features that you guys have in your smartphones.
No, thank you so much. It was great to be here with you. And I mean, I love telling people about all the Oppo functions, and I really get excited about this AI technology and where we're going with it. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, excited for the future. Thanks for joining us, Brad.